All right, so I am going to go ahead and start this because I am recording, and I want this to exist as a training series beyond this live call. And I don't want to take too much time on the front end to stall, because my goal for this training series is to make sure that with your busy schedules that you're able to get some good solid training in 30 minutes. And walk away with something to help your business. And then for those who are able to attend live, awesome. You're going to be able to stay on for the 30 minutes after and ask questions. Anybody who's able to show up. It may not be very many, that's okay. But go ahead, and I see Michelle is here. If there's any questions during that you want to go ahead and type in the chat, and I'll pay attention to the chat. If I feel like it's relevant to make sure that I expand and clarify for the 30 minutes of training content, that's great. I would love, because sometimes, because I'm, 4+ years into the business, I can take for granted some of my knowledge. So if a question that you have will help me to clarify for the training, please go ahead. And if I feel like it's something that I can answer later, that's what this is for. So this is, I want you to have that opportunity to ask circumstantial, situational questions for your business or whatever's going on for you. But like I said, I want this to exist for as a training series beyond today. So welcome. Welcome to this new Coach Fast Tracks training series. This is intended for people who are ready to take this business by the horns at whatever pace they want to go. So that doesn't mean you want to grow at a certain speed. It just means that you know that you want to treat this as a business, and you want to make sure that you're using the opportunity as best you can. So those who are watching this ideally will have gone through Team Phoenix University. It's a 10-day training that we have, TPU we call it. And that's our basic foundational training on coaching. Even hobby coaches, it's going to provide them a foundation to understand how we do this, our best practices. But this training series moving forward, I'm going to get a little deeper into a lot of those things for those of you who want to really, move deeper into the business and to know the best way to do that. I will say it's important to have gone through some your vital behaviors too, really started to practice those, getting a rhythm before we start getting to some of this stuff. Because if that is not something that you have made progress in figuring out how to create a rhythm, the rest of this is going to be obsolete. It won't matter because that is the foundation of the business. Your vital behaviors, that is number one. That is how we run this business, is the vital behaviors. The rest of this is going to be a lot of bonus and the kind of the sexier stuff, I know, but the vitals, they're a little monotonous, but that's what grows you a business. So, all right, let's get started. So first things first, after you've gone through TPU, your 10 days of training, and you're starting to practice your vitals, you figured out where this fits in your day. For those of you who, maybe have to squeeze it in the beginning of the day before the kids wake up, a little bit at nap time in the evening, or maybe you work all day and you can only do it after the kids go to bed, or maybe you're squeezing in 30 minutes at lunchtime, whatever that looks like for you. So once you've kind of outlined that, because that is very important, this is a very flexible business. That is one of the many beauties of being a Beachbody coach, is that it is extremely flexible, but it's not optional. So we have to figure out where it works in our schedule. So as you've figured out what that looks like in your schedule, give or take, life happens. And that's, again, we can turn on a dime like that as owners of our own business. This is where we're going to start getting into a little bit more of the meat. So if you have not taken advantage of what Beachbody already has in the back office as far as training for you, it's called the First 30. And so I don't know, and perhaps I should open up perhaps I should do a screen share. But Beachbody has provided a lot of training for you. They have a system called the First 30. I think it's the first 30 minutes of your business, the first 30 seconds, first 30 minutes, first 30 days, of your business. They have little action steps for you to move through. They're pretty simple, but it's it's meant to engage you right away, and rather than kind of signing up and kind of stalling and waiting for it to kind of come to you, they give you those action steps to kind of get you off and running. And then we provide the training, some training beyond that. But I want to strongly encourage you to use the resources that Beachbody is providing, because they work. They're awesome. We obviously provide additional training because we feel like our team has remained in the top of the company the past 3 years, and probably 4 years this year, because of some of our best practices. And so we do take the training a step further in our Team Phoenix University, how we use social media, how we relate to people. We feel like there's a reason that our team excels, and we kind of, because of the heart and the hustle that we bring, we provide that for you. But we do want to just encourage you to please use what Beachbody is already providing, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to regurgitate what they're already providing. So, most of what we're sharing is not what's already been shared with you by corporate. So let me go ahead and screen share, and I haven't opened up my back office today. So, well, here it is. Let's see if I can go into, never mind. Never mind, because my computer does not do well when I'm doing Zoom. My Wi-Fi doesn't do well when I'm doing Zoom and trying to access the internet browser. It slows down. But if you log right into Beachbody, into Team Beachbody, there is a training system. There's training. Go to the training tab. It says training, and use it. Go through it. They give you the basics. And like I said, we're not going to walk you through all those things because we don't want to regurgitate what's already been shared. We're going to give you the Team Phoenix twist. So that's first things first, is go through the first 30 Team Phoenix University, and now that's where we get into the meat. So something that I really want to bring to a new coach's attention is this is a really simple business. It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem that way at first, and that might sound crazy to you. And I do remember, even though it's been 4.5 years, I do remember how it felt. I do remember feeling like there's so much to learn. I do remember hearing all this vocabulary and terminology that made no sense to me. And I thought, oh, I'm so not business savvy. I had building a business, running a business, had no interest because I didn't think I could be good at it. I don't think that way. I don't think in metrics. I don't think in business terms. I would have said I would be bad at business because I'm not good with monitoring, money and numbers. It just doesn't matter. So I was intimidated by all of that. So for someone to tell me it's simple, I would have okay, whatever. We just overcomplicate it. And I say we, meaning myself included. It's easy to overcomplicate. It truly is a simple business. The vital behaviors at their core, that is exactly how this business is run. We just kind of overcomplicate it and chase shiny objects. Now, notice I didn't say it was easy, because it's not. Building a business, being an entrepreneur isn't easy. It takes hard work. It takes discipline. It takes some time for a lot of us to move from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. We get it. We get the employee mindset. We get you show up for a job, you get paid for an hour, you get paid a salary. That makes sense to us. It's easy. It's easy to do that idea. It's easy to think that there's a boss who's going to tell you what to do. There's accountability. The boss is going to give you the next steps. We count on the boss to tell us when we're doing poorly or to tell us when we're doing, well. We count on the boss to acknowledge our hard work and then promote us. And oftentimes that doesn't, happen. But that's a mindset that we get. Being an entrepreneur, it's a mindset that it can be learned. And I believe that it can, because like I said, I'm not a business person at all. It scared the crap out of me. But I did love the mindset of my hard work will, the effort I put in comes out. And that is not always the case as an employee. We know that oftentimes our hard work isn't rewarded all the time. We know some of us who are just naturally driven, do good work. Sometimes we other people get credit for it, or someone gets paid the same salary when we do all the work, that kind of thing. That's the beauty of what we do. But it can also be to our disadvantage if we are waiting on someone to tell us what's next. So know that I am your mentor. Your upline is your mentor. Team Phoenix has so many tools and resources. Beachbody has so many tools and resources for you. You're so fortunate to have access to that. But I'm not your boss. Your upline's not your boss. You are your own boss. And you'll need to take responsibility for what you bring to this. Whether what if I quit tomorrow? What if your upline quit tomorrow? This is still your business. You still have every ability to be successful as a business owner. As I came in without upline leadership, I just decided that, and I think while that might sound like, oh, poor Megan, honestly, I actually feel like that was an advantage to me. And I feel like it's an advantage now. At the time, I didn't feel like it was. I felt obviously like, darn it, I wish I'd known better. I wish I'd signed up with somebody who was working the business, because they would have guided me along the way. So here's why I say it was an advantage. And I only tell you this, not to I tell you this to help you to be careful, to help you not make a lot of the mistakes that a lot of coaches make coming into large successful teams. I didn't have anything to compare myself to, because I wasn't in close proximity in a team page or in a team community where I was seeing what others were doing, what ranks they were hitting, if they were hitting Success Club, if there was, where they're being recognized for something. Because I didn't have a context for what I should be doing or something to compare myself to, I didn't get distracted by it. There was nothing to be distracted by in terms of that. I just was challenging myself to be better than my former self at any given moment. I was in competition with myself, and that's what I was kind of challenged by. If I had been in proximity to a lot of, to an awesome team with successful people, rather than really take advantage of that knowledge and success, I think I would have taken advantage of that knowledge and resources, but I think it would have been easy for me to let insecurity creep in, self-doubt creep in, and watch what others are doing and watch their social media. Oh my gosh, she looks prettier when she's doing her sway selfie, or gosh, her food always looks so good. I can never be successful because she looks like at her meals, or oh my gosh, she's got a huge transformation. I didn't come in with a huge transformation. Oh my gosh, she's so skinny. She's so fit. She's got abs. Oh, but she's a fitness professional. I didn't have that context. So I think that was an advantage because I just charged forward. So I want to encourage you guys to try to have your cake, so to speak, and eat it too. Be really blessed by the amazing resources that you have coming into a top team, but put your blinders on. Please encourage and support. They don't put your blinders on, so you're not even liking people's posts and encouraging people and shouting people out who are doing well. That's being a team player. And I obviously strongly encourage that. But don't let anybody's success or perceived success get in the way of you challenging yourself to be your best self and to help others. Because, we don't want our why to get clouded by, why are they doing well? Your why you became a Beachbody coach, that needs to stay at your forefront, and not worrying about what you think you should be doing or measuring yourself up against any of those things. You came into this to help people. So make it about helping people and helping yourself, and not, getting into the comparison game. That being said, it's really easy to get distracted. So one of the first things that you can do today, if you have not already done this, and I hope you write this down and you do it, remove yourself from any extraneous groups that might be distracting you. Turn off notifications in some groups that you don't need to be notified every time there's a notification. That is one of the big things that gets us most distracted coming in as a coaches. We've done free groups and challenge groups, and we're in the team page, and now the UK people are in the UK page, and then there's the message thread, and maybe you've been added to a lot of things because you're now engaged in groups and trainings. They can be overwhelming if you feel like you have to acknowledge every notification and read everything. You don't. You'll want to obviously pick and choose which ones you do once a day check into to make sure you get the content, to make sure you get what's important. For example, like, the Team Phoenix page, if you want to scan that like once a day or whatever, you're going to want to really discipline yourself to turn off the notifications that are going to distract you. That's going to be up to you. Because that is one of the things I hear is, oh, I can't do this. It's so overwhelming. I don't have all the time in the day to like check into all these groups and post this many times. You control that. It's not the business. You will learn to set those kind of boundaries and create those kind of boundaries that you're not having to check your phone all the time. So start now before it gets too out of hand and you're like feeling overwhelmed. You don't need to be on your phone all the time. You just have to create some boundaries. If you have an hour in the day to do your work, that is when those vitals fit in. That means I'm not checking my messages until I've done my vitals. That's what that means. So many people say, I'm so busy. I feel like I'm working for my hour, but like I'm not moving anywhere. But what does that hour look like? Are we like scanning notifications? Are we reading checking our messages first? The vital behaviors have a chronology for a reason. There's a reason why adding new contacts is the number one thing on it. It's because if you are not actively networking, you will run out of people to talk to. And there's a reason that the next one, is what it is, because these are the most important things that a lot of people, if they're not intentional, find themselves chasing the shiny objects and don't actively, grow the business. So just, I want to come ahead of, you getting to that place where you feel overwhelmed by doing all the like busy work. You're actually doing the stuff that grows a business. So just start thinking about how you can minimize those distractions. Have one TV station, and that is your training right now. And you will become more efficient. You will find a rhythm, and you will find a way to, you'll figure it out. It'll take you a little time, but there are some things you can do right now, like turning off notifications in certain groups, turning on notifications maybe in the groups you want to check into, and that kind of thing. All right. And like I said, if you have any questions that might help me to provide any clarity around these, please go ahead and type them in there. I do want to be able to, in the 30 minutes of training, providing more clarity if you feel like maybe I wasn't clear on something. But any specific questions, those who are attending live, I'm going to save till like at the end, because this is going to exist for training moving forward for people. So a lot of this is like not this first call, this getting started right, is not going to be specific training or specific action steps. It's going to be more like what are you going to do to set yourself up for success with the remaining trainings, because this is the kind of stuff that people don't get off the ground with. It just seems like common sense. But common sense is not common practice. And I want to make sure that I am getting you guys set up for success and that you have an opportunity to kind of prepare yourself. And it's kind of like a forewarning of, those kind of things that if not set up from the front, will come back to bite you later on. So, okay. So number 2, and number 1 was first things first. Number 2, maybe I should put this on a whiteboard. I do have a little whiteboard over here. I don't know if it's really been helpful. I don't know. First things first. I don't know. Number 2 is start with the end in mind. I was going to say have a vision, but vision is kind of too like out there for, I think, some of us as new coaches. For me, that would have sounded like, well, I'm just trying to help people. I don't want a vision. Like I'm trying about, I just want to help people. Start with the end in mind. And by that, I mean, whenever you're approaching any step of your business, whether it's social media, whether it's inviting someone to a challenge group or building, inviting them to the coaching opportunity, start with the end in mind and not just that I want to sign someone right now. I need to hit this mark. What are you ultimately here for? The business side of it can get really can get people really jaded if they're just chasing the metrics. I think you should have targets in the beginning of your business, but you start with the end in mind. And for me, that starts with, as a new coach, to not have the mindset of, I'm just going to see how this goes. I hear that a lot for new coaches, is they get excited to sign up, and then on a getting started right call, it's we'll see how this goes. I just wanted to give this a shot and see what happens. Be really careful if that's where you find yourself, because people see it, people read it. Your content, your social media, the way you communicate, your subconscious shows. We might think that we're saying the right words and behaving a certain way, but our subconscious is very transparent. If we have this kind of half in, hand on the escape hatch kind of thing going on, if it's clear to people that you are trying this out, you're going to have a hard time connecting with people, because people join people in this business. They don't join a business. They don't join a product. They join people. And when it comes to fitness, it's so personal. It is. We know that our fitness issues have nothing to do with food and exercise. They have to do with what's going on up here. Insecurities, issues, past experiences, limiting beliefs, sometimes darker and scarier things that we haven't even addressed, to ourselves. So people need to know that you actually live this lifestyle. People need to know that you actually believe in this. Whether you want to run your business, on a small scale, you're not thinking about a big business like I wasn't. I knew that I wanted people to trust me, and I didn't know what the Power Hour was yet. I didn't learn about the vital behaviors. It took me like months to hear that was a thing, that I could track and stuff. So I think I was kind of naturally doing it without knowing, because my end in mind was, I want people to trust me, and I don't want to sell anything. But I want them to buy from me, but I don't want to sell anything. And so the way that my mind worked, without knowing that there was actually like a tracker to follow or a system to follow, was, I'm going to provide as much value and be as consistent and real as possible. I'm going to live this truth. I'm going to share it. I'm going to talk to as many people as possible. I'm going to friend request as many people as realistically possible. And I'm going to start conversations. I'm going to have so many conversations going on out there. I'm going to have so much relationship building going on there. There's going to be so many people to invite, that I'm actually at a point in conversation with, that I could invite them comfortably without feeling salesy. So that's what that looked like for me. I didn't want to sell, so my daily activity looked like building trust, because I wanted to, at the end of the month, know that I had so many people that I could chat with and not feel like I was out of the blue trying to sell them a product. So just be really careful, even if you kind of come in today with, I'm just going to see how this goes. People will see it. And if you are inconsistent and kind of a fair weather coach, people want to feel like you're going to be there the next day, the next month. They want to know that, and that's why a lot of people won't even join you for months. And so these first few months are critical. They are critical, and where most coaches quit. The first 3 months are they're the most critical, and where most people quit. Because there's a delay. There's a delay in this business. There's a delay in the connections that you're making, the seeds you're planting now, and when those actually sprout and bloom. They need to see that you're actually legit. They need to see this is not just something new you're doing. They need to see that you believe in this and that you're going to be there. They need to see that it's working. They need to see that they want to see that it's, they want that credibility. They want to see the transformation, the progress, whether it's physical or otherwise. These first 3 months, the vitals, not giving up on the vitals, especially because they're not going to always give you immediate feedback that they're working. This is where most people fizzle. The people who trust the process for a good solid 3 months of vitals, they're like, oh my gosh, people are coming to me now. This is crazy. I didn't know the person was watching me. They never even liked anything. That you'll see this snowball effect, but it just takes getting through several weeks of consistently doing the vital behavior. So I tell people, have this mindset of, I'm going to be here in 1 year. Be here in 1 year. If you can have that hashtag be here in 1 year, I'm going to have that mindset at all times. If I'm here in 1 year, then what is my activity going to look like today? I plan to be here in 1 year, but in my back of my head, we're going to see how this goes. That 100% will determine what my activity looks like on a daily basis. So have that end in mind there. Even if you have no vision of what this could be for you, it will evolve, I promise. It has for me, and it has for so many coaches. Well, I'll get to this part later. I'll mention it now. When I look back at my most successful coaches, statistics will show me that most of them didn't intend to build a business. The people who come in to my business that I've recruited, or they found me or whatever, they come in and they seem like they're going to be awesome. Like, you have those people that are like, oh my gosh, they're going to be amazing. They have this going for them, like, they're going to be like, they're so confident. They're so charismatic. They're whatever. And it's inevitably that those people are usually not as successful as the people who never came in to build a business, because in the back of their head, they weren't thinking about a business. They were thinking about their journey and helping people, and they had their head there. But the more we think about like the what if someone doesn't buy from me, it reflects in the trust that people build with us. And so it's always interesting to me to see the people who are the most successful are those unassuming challengers that came in that just never, and they told me no 2, 3, 4 times because no, I'm not fit enough. Whatever their excuses were. But those are the ones who come out of the woodwork because they didn't have in mind that there was an expectation of, having success right away. They just wanted to share this journey. But I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So a couple things, and we'll talk more about this on the next training, is your first goals are to help people, right? This is kind of number 3. Leave your perfectionism at the door. And I know that's easier said than done. And maybe you kind of just drop it off in little deposits, because I know that's easier said than done. And I just like, okay, I'm done being a perfectionist. It's going to be one of those things, you kind of like drop it off in little deposits. Right now, the faster you get started reaching out to people and helping people, the better. But what happens is we get so caught up in learning everything and knowing everything and learning all the training and personal development. We're doing all these things, feeling like we have to know it all first. Perfectionism will kick you in the butt every single time. I'm telling you this from 37 years of experience of being a perfectionist. And it wasn't until this business that I finally release myself from I call myself a recovering perfectionist, because it's the very thing that kept me from continuing down multiple paths in my life. I've started so many certifications, so many jobs, so many trainings, schoolings, but because I have a high standard for myself, if I was not going to be perfect at it, if I was going to flounder a little bit, if I was like going to be really awkward and uncomfortable and I would stop before people even knew I was doing it. Like, I would hide from it. I needed to be the best at everything. I had to excel. This was the first thing that I gave myself permission to just suck at. And in my allowing failure, typos, mishaps, letting those go, oh my gosh, has it freed me from the chains of perfectionism. But more than that, it's given me so much more success in life, because people don't want perfect. People don't trust perfect. They're not perfect. It doesn't relate to them. And you might have someone like think you're awesome, but who cares? Who cares if you have a fan? You want people who want to be a part of what you're doing, and they trust you because you're honest, and they can connect with you and they can relate to you. So just lead with your heart and start letting the perfectionism slowly drift away. Don't feel like you have to know and learn everything. You guys, if you've made it through 10 days of TPU, you know enough to start helping people. So I say from the time of this, when you're listening to this recording or you're here now, like your next 10 days, help 3 people. Help 3 people and earn at least 2 Success Club points, even if you've already earned Success Club points for the month, or whatever. And this next 10 days, forget, having to learn more, do more. You can help people. You know how to help people. You care about people. You don't have to be trained to care and love people. Help 3 people get started with at least one person earning Success Club points. So take these next 10 days, and that might mean some people aren't going to hop on a challenge pack or whatever, but take these 10 days from now and just help people. And once you kind of just excuse yourself from having to know everything and do everything right, and just decide to go help people, you're going to open up a door that's going to help you to take one step out of that, like the chains of perfectionism. And it's going to be a journey, but I'm getting that charge from here. So, and then obviously we're going to talk more about Success Club and Emerald on the next call. But I'm just going to kind of introduce that right now, or that idea, so you know that's what the next training series will be. But if you already are at a place where you have some points on the board, or you are planning to, like, that this is what you want to do, depending on where you listen, what time of the month you're listening to this. If you're here to grow a business, Success Club you'll want that to be a non-negotiable for you. I don't want to get too far into it because we're already 30 minutes, but what I don't want you to do is to use these metrics to judge you and to judge your success. They are meant to be a target to stretch you. They're meant to be a standard of excellence that helps you to help as many people as possible, but they're not meant to judge you should you hit them or not. They're there to give you accountability to helping people. For somebody like me who was offended by numbers and perceived quotas. That's what I thought Success Club was when I first heard about it. I thought it was a quota that a company was giving me. Like, guys, I wish you had talked to me 4.5 years ago. I was such a skeptic. I was such a snotty little skeptic. I was a fitness professional who thought she was too good to be doing coaching because I had a degree and I had certifications. I was such a little punk. And sales freaked me out. But I wanted to help people. And so I naturally was helping people. I knew I wanted to help at least 3 people anyway, but don't tell me, company, what you think I need to be doing. So I didn't want to listen to it because I just want to help people. The problem is if you just say, I just want to help people, you give yourself an excuse to help 0 people. So if you want to just help people, decide what number of people is realistic for you to help and go with that and aim for that and hold yourself to that standard. And I think for most of us, and especially anybody here, to build a business, that magic number happens to be 3 statistically. Those people, if you're doing that at least on a monthly basis. And we'll talk more about that on the next call. But that will be kind of your next goal beyond getting started right, is making that a system that you are certain to be on, and then that rank advancement of Emerald. Again, that's to come. And this is the last thing before I open this up to questions. This is an assignment for you. Know your fitness why. So this will take some time after this call for you to just really think through and maybe write it out. We talk about having a why in this business, how important it is to have something that's motivating you each day to, show up and do the work. As an entrepreneur, there's no one asking you to clock in. Your coach isn't, I don't think your coaches, I know that this is not my style of leadership. I'm not asking my coaches to send me their business activity trackers, because I don't want to feel like your mom or your boss, because that's not what I am. I'm your mentor. Some coaches might do that. You might have that relationship with your coach. If my coach were to ask me because they wanted that kind of accountability, I'd do it. Because sometimes I need that with my accountability partner. Like, hey, would you make sure I did this? So that's not what you're going to get here. But it's hard to show up and do the work, right? Because it's a little bit monotonous sometimes, and you're not getting the kind of feedback right away. So it's motivating yourself is tough. So we talk about having that why that makes you cry. And a lot of times we talk about, what you want to, how you want this business to help your family, and what would you do with an extra $500 a month? Do you have debt that you need to get out of? Do you want to, bring your husband home from his job? Do you just want to, have a little extra cash to pay for the organic groceries? That was my thing. I said, I just want to pay for the better groceries. Can I do that? Pay for my Shakeology. I'm good if I just get better groceries and maybe can get a pedicure and not feel bad about it. That's what I thought. I want you to have a fitness why. And I want you to think about what this journey means to you, because this is the story that you're going to tell. And we're going to get deeper into social media with future trainings, because that's going to require, a full call of how to most effectively use social media. But I think it's really important for you to know what your fitness why is. You may or may not have used Beachbody to get to where you're at. Like I had discovered fitness before Beachbody and had, it had changed my life in a lot of ways. And then Beachbody helped in other ways. Mine has to do with body image, insecurity. I had bulimia in college. I was a dancer and I gained a lot of weight and I had got, judged for that. And I had to be benched because of it. And I was told that my body wasn't suitable for uniform. And I thought my worth was in my body or how it looked. And so I had this warped idea of body image and I, abused my body. And I found fitness and it gave me confidence. It helped me to see my body as strong and powerful and see the value in that part of it and not like how it looked. And so my journey started there with confidence, and then Beachbody, the community of Beachbody. So without getting too much into my story it's a story. And you're going to have your own story. And you're still writing that story maybe. And that's okay too. But I think it's really important. That's what you're sharing. That is the message that people are getting. And your customers may not all have your story. And don't think that you're just looking for other people who can relate to your story specifically. But people relate to stories. People trust. Yeah, stories sell, facts tell. You can sit here and give all the facts about, and that's important to share with people. Here are the properties of Shakeology, and here's exactly what you're going to get in a challenge group. But your story is the most important and powerful thing that you have to connect with people. So, write that down, get to know what that is. And no, we don't just kind of, vomit our story in a post and there you go. Sometimes you kind of do that, but you're really kind of leaking it over time. It's a thread of what you're sharing, the value that you're sharing through social media. So think about it this way. Before Beachbody, I was this. What did I find? Did you find a challenge group? Did you find Shaun T? Did you find P90X? Did you find Shakeology? What did you find? I did. What did you do? I joined this challenge group. I had to sell my car or whatever. Like I had to cancel cable. It doesn't have to be financial. I just mean, what did you do? I did this. And then now my life is. So what does that story look like for you? Before Beachbody, what did you find? What did you do? And now what do you have? And again, this is constantly changing and evolving, right? Like we're on this journey. Your journey is still your most important thing you have. And it should be number one. And it's always going to evolve. But your fitness, why I feel like we don't talk about enough in terms of, helping, the business. And this is why that's why I feel like my coaches who didn't necessarily come in for the business side often are super successful because they are very much connected to the fitness why that kind of caught them off guard. Oh my gosh, my life has changed. I want others to feel this way. How can I get the word out there? That's, why I find that's the case on our team often is they have a strong sense of what their fitness why is, and they're confident and comfortable to communicating that. So, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about today. I think this is a really solid place for people to move forward. Whether you've gone as far as doing a coming out post or not, that's okay if you haven't. I kind of leaked my coming out post. I didn't have a big grand boom. I kind of gradually started sharing inspiration and value and started talking about some of the things I was doing before. It was like, hey, so I'm doing this thing, and and that's okay too. I think I think it's completely personal. We share examples of posts just to kind of give you some inspiration. I think that's fine because what you see on social media is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the business. What you see us putting out there is only part of the picture. It's the conversations that you're having behind the scenes, like the messaging, the vital behaviors. That's where I was connecting with people before I was even putting out on social media. Boom, I'm a coach, come join, my group. There was so much like this under the surface no one saw. Before I said, hey, and when I put that post up, I was able to engage with more people because I had been so actively involved in just building relationships. So that's okay if that's the kind of pace that you want to take. I will say, it can bite you in the butt because it did me, to not, be pretty clear, because I'd have people that I was talking to and building relationships with, and they'd see me on my journey and they go to beachbody.com and buy what I was doing because I wasn't clear. Hey, you can do that with me. And so they were buying it from other coaches or joining other coaches' teams, without, because I wasn't being pretty clear. So just know that that's a thing and to be, possible. But also be careful too about stock images and blasting Beachbody, because no one wants to see you, no one wants to be marketed to. That's just not the most effective way to build this business. Like, you are a brand, and that's something we're going to talk more about in the future. I'm kind of like teasing you guys with the good stuff, but we're going to talk more about how you draw people to you. People are going to join you, not Beachbody. So, the stock photos of Autumn or Shanti, they're marginally effective, if at all. We want to build value around you. And so I would say people are standoffish when they see that stuff. They see sales when they see stock images. One of our favorite marketing gurus, Chalene Johnson, talks about curiosity marketing, and you don't even need to say the names of programs. The more curiosity that you create in people, the better. You don't want to say, look at my results from 21 Day Fix. And then somebody like, dang, beachbody.com or whatever, .co.uk, whatever. You don't want them doing that. You want them to say, hey, what are you doing and how do I do it? Boom, you have a conversation. But if you kind of put it all out there, they go and buy it somewhere else. So you want to kind of keep that stuff close to your chest, create that curiosity, be careful with the stock photos and blasting Beachbody. And we'll talk more about how to do that, how to use social media effectively, and how to, build your brand or niche or, that picture of who you are and what you have to offer people in future trainings. All right. So that is all that I wanted to talk about in getting started. Your action steps moving forward are to make sure that you've gone and looked at all the first 30 materials on the back office, what else did I say? Your fitness why, make sure that you know what that fitness why is. And this next 10 days to help at least 3 people and get at least choose Success Club points. Yeah, I think that's it for this call. And I'm going to say, thanks for being here and thanks for listening. And then now I'll open this up to any questions. So Maria and Michelle, you can ask questions based on this training, or you can ask questions based on because this is for you guys to be here live and just have mentorship. So it doesn't have to be related to this. You can talk about your current anything that's currently going on with your business that you need help with or questions about. I'm here.
I've got one.
Yeah.
If you're friend requesting, and you get your friends, how long would you leave it until you were to contact them? Because I've requested a couple where I think maybe coaching would be pretty good for them. However, I don't want to sort of request them as a friend and go straight in. How long would you say you'd leave it for?
Yeah. So as soon as someone accepts my friend request, I'm going to connect with them. I'm going to say, hey, so-and-so, thanks for the ad. Depending on if I sort of know them, maybe they are a friend of a friend, maybe I never met them, but they're a friend of a friend. That will determine how I'll, what I might say. So if they're friends of a friend's, this is a great script from a newer coach on the team who does really well with this. She'll say something like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for the ad. I saw that you were friends with some of my cool friends or something like that. Some cool people, so I figured you were cool too. Whatever, something like that. It works so well with her. It's I figured you were cool too because you're friends with, so-and-so and so-and-so. I will in friend request people that would work out at the gym I was working out at. And because they would be mutual friends with people I was acquainted with. And so I would say something like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for the ad. I see you're friends with my friends at the gym, so-and-so, and so. Do you take the classes there? What classes do you like? I'm just starting a conversation. That is your goal. Your goal isn't to invite your goal is to start a conversation, get them talking, get to know them, because we're not trying to sell to everybody. We're trying to find out who might actually have a need that we can serve. Do you know what I mean? So I think I don't train to go to an invitation. I train to get to know people. And because you're going to be much more effective if you actually know if they actually want what you have. So it would just kind of depend on how you know the person, or you might be connected with them, how I would go about it.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's just that there's one girl I know through a friend, but plus I know her on hand because her little boy used to swim with Seth. So I suddenly thought, oh, do you know, I've never requested before. And today I just thought, oh, great, you know, I know she does a lot of fitness classes as such for a girl in her business. And it's like trying to now approach her in a way where I'm not trying to sell, but sort of trying to get her on board with it.
Yeah, I think you can absolutely, since you've talked, I mean, you know her, you're acquainted with her, you can ask her a question like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for the ad. How is your son doing? If you know his name, or whatever. I just open the conversation. That's all you want to do. You don't have to like go straight to like anything relating to, you know, coaching. That is your connections, you know, the end in mind is for them to trust you enough to even buy from you. And sometimes they're not even going to be your people, but you don't know that until you start talking to them. So I might start with that. And then you're going to just track this. You're going to, you know, track the people that you're talking to, because you're going to be intentional about following up with them another day. Like just stop liking their stuff on Facebook, engaging with them, asking questions. If you can find any reason that you might naturally like have something to talk to them about. And then you can, one of these days, you have a challenge group coming up, a free group, a paid group. Hey, I don't know if this would ever interest you, but I have this thing, and I know you're into fitness. And I have this free group that I do. So this is XYZ, what we do. Or you can even invite them straight to a challenge group. I don't know if this would ever interest you, but I know that you're really into your health. And I'm doing this 30-day challenge. And then you explain what it is. So, you know, that's kind of that disclaimer. That's my favorite invitation is, hey, I don't know if this would ever interest you, because it's just kind of like naturally in the conversation. It's not like, hey, a friend requested you. Hey, I have these groups you want in. People, that's spam and people ignore you. So my goal is to just legitimately build relationships, like legitimately not build relationships to get to a sale. You know what I mean? Build relationships and care about people and be genuinely interested in people, and they'll want to join you. People will see through if you're going straight to like sales. Be genuinely interested in people. And a lot of people be really relentless in talking to lots of people, building relationships and caring about them, and then bringing the conversation maybe to a place that sometime when it's appropriate. It takes intention. It's not going to naturally happen necessarily. It can, because they might see what you're doing on Facebook and then ask you. There's a difference in being like intentional and just natural. Be intentional in those conversations so that you are, you know, staying engaged at a level where you feel like it would be appropriate for an invitation at some point. But it's got to come across as it needs to be genuine interest in them and their lifestyle. And because guess what? Fitness isn't for this, lifestyle isn't, or these programs aren't for everybody. Some people will say, I don't work out at I don't want to work out at home. Okay, well, you might invite them later, but they're just not ready for that yet. But if you're intentional about like the relationship and like building, you know, genuine connection, they might be open to hearing what you're doing and thinking outside the box of what their norm is. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of, that's why I always say it's got to be a lot of people. It can't just be, I'm talking to 10 people this month. No, it's going to work. Like you have to be talking to lots of people. It's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Helen. Maria, you got a baby there. You're trying to be quiet. I don't know.
Yeah, I just put him down to bed, so I'm just in the next room.
You have any questions? I already got.
What was I? It's what I'm trying to sort of work on now. On my sort of first like the 21-day group, which will lead into obviously challenge group or sign up to Beachbody.
Mm-hmm.
And with the free groups, I'm finding that fine because people are straight in going, yeah, I'll do the 5 days or 7 days. That's brilliant. But I'm just finding it a bit more of a challenge, shall I say, trying to get them to sort of be on board for the 21 days. So I've been offering like the 14-day, the trial, and, trying to do it that way to try and get them in. But I just think people are a bit more reluctant. I'm finding that I'm not getting as many people as I would do if I was doing a 5-day group, obviously. But so it's just, I suppose for me, it's just testing how I'm wording it and how I'm putting that across to people. And
so how many people have you had in your last free group?
That got to the end. There was about 5 people in the last one that did the full 5 days that got right to the end.
How many committed in the front end?
There's about 20 people interested, but then 5 people in the end completed it.
Yeah. Most people won't. They won't. And so I know that I kind of have a system when it comes to my free groups where I am really extremely intentional with getting big numbers, knowing that most people won't purchase. They won't that month, but those people will come back and they'll invite people. And, that's where the beauty of the free groups is like, it's continuing to do them, because people think from that 5 days, they're good. They're like, oh, this was great. I love this. I have some success. I see some results. They feel confident that maybe they could move forward and do this on their own better than they were before. And then what do you know? They don't, because the next group you have, they're ready to do it again. And this cycle repeats however many times based on the person before they're like, okay, like I really need to stick to a real program like you keep talking about, and I got to try the Shakeology stuff that you're talking about, and I'm open to doing this now, whatever. So that's the norm. So that's why for me to invite directly from my free groups, I'm making sure that I am really intentional about getting large numbers. So that's number one when it comes to the free groups, is you just have to expect that most people aren't going to commit. But keep inviting and have them invite, get referrals the next time, have them invite people to your free group. So that's one way to get larger numbers into your free groups, sharing transformations of past participants. There's ways to beef up. That was my big strategy, was making my free groups awesome, give people a great experience. And so, and then realizing when they left the group that they couldn't, they weren't doing it on their own. Most people need community. But it takes them sometimes months to realize that. Mm-hmm. So some people decide they want to do it. And that's great.
Do you stay quite strict in your 5 and 7 day group? Do you stay quite strict that if they don't check in daily, that you do expect them to leave the group? Because I don't know whether I should be more strict with that.
I think I personally think it's huge.
Yeah, I thought.
Because they're not getting accountability, and they're never seeing the value of accountability. And if they're not seeing the value of accountability there, then why would they think they should join a 30-day group if they pay for something?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, maybe I need to be more strict
and then not be expected to do anything. And that's why I think my free groups are successful, because I am not afraid to remove people. And I do it so kindly that I think most people don't feel offended.
Yeah.
I say, hey, so-and-so, I see that you haven't checked in for the day. No worries if now isn't the right timing. Should I invite you back next Monday or next month? And that kind of sends them the message of, oh. Yeah. I guess I can't just sit here and just get free menu.
Watch and observe, yeah.
And you're enabling people. You're creating moochers. And it discounts your value to them. And you don't want that. If someone wants a free menu, they can Google it, they can Pinterest it, but they're not going to come sit in my group and dilute it with people who are serious. And that's in my head, this is not fair to those who've committed. If we have a bunch of lurkers, observers, not to insult them, but I'm trying to take the best care of the people who trusted in me.
Yeah.
To send me their photos and go shopping for the foods, and that's my duty. It's what I owe them. I feel like, not to like, so plus I feel like the real thing is you have to create value around you. And that exclusivity makes you bump up in value.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys are getting invited to lots of groups. I know, I'm in like a bazillion groups. I get added to randomly for people who sell stuff like skincare and jewelry and leggings. Like they have their customer groups or whatever. That's where they sell. They'll add me to it randomly. I didn't even ask them. They didn't ask me. Like, and I think I don't like that. I think that's sumptuous. And it screams to me, I'm trying to sell you something. So I want my groups to have a different feel. I want people to feel like, no, this is kind of like invite only. Yeah. And so when someone gets removed, they realize that I think there's something. I was like, oh, well, I want to be. It's kind of like the VIP. Like, what's going on in there? What's going on behind those ropes, behind those curtains? Like, I want to see. It's like now it has a higher value. And so that's what I want to create. I don't want it to be like, hi, I'm dropping you into a group and hoping you're going to buy from me. I'm hoping you think I'm awesome enough. I'm hoping you see my stuff and how cool it is in here. Then you'll really want to do it. But then I feel like that looks more desperate. And it looks more like I'm hoping you'll buy from me. But when it's like, no, I'm trying to help people here. I really believe in accountability and support. I really believe in community and I'm excited to help people. Are you ready? Oh, no. Oh, no worries. Cool. Like, well, how about next time? That's what I'm trying to show them is like, yeah, this is different. So I think there's a kind way to do that. And not like, sorry, you're booted. You didn't do that. You didn't feel, that's what I think new coaches are the most uncomfortable with, is like, they don't want to feel like they're offending someone or hurting their feelings or like kicking them out. We lack that, newer coach, we lack that confidence that that's okay. But I think you want to build that value on the front end rather than have them like, take advantage of you. You don't want to enable people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think you kind of naturally do feel that when people do either drop out or don't continue, you kind of that sticks in your mind rather than the ones that are being accountable and stay in the group, because you always question, oh, I wonder why, what have I done wrong? You question yourself, don't you? Whereas you should really be focusing on the ones that are in the group and being positive and keeping them,
Yeah, I mean, but you know that it's not you.
Yeah.
You know that it's not you. People just aren't ready.
Yeah. People
struggle. People have a lot of stuff. People have a lot of stuff going on up here where they just don't know how to value themselves yet. It's not important yet. And that's it. Just for me, when they're not checking in, I feel bad for them. Not like, what did I do wrong? It's like, they say they want this, but they can't even take a shopping list and go to the store yet. Like, they're just not ready. But I think when I remove them in that kind way, I think it gives for a second they think about it, but they're not invited to think about it if I never even acknowledge their lack of participation. They've forgotten about the group, essentially. Like, I'm in groups I don't know I'm in because I got added and I didn't even realize it, or I maybe saw the notification and I forgot. I don't even know the group's existing. But if someone was like, hey, Megan, you said you wanted to, learn this new tactic for whatever, and I haven't seen you check in. Do you want to try our next round? I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay, yeah, I totally slacked. My bad. And then now I have an awareness that I didn't do something I said I wanted to do. But otherwise, no one ever reached out to me or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm ignoring notifications in my feed because it's so that's up to us to be like, hey, I'm here for you. When you're ready, I'm here for you. What can I do for you? It's like I think your value goes up, you know?
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, aside from that, obviously free groups aren't the only way to, engage people with, our programs. You don't have that's not the only way. There are lots of people you could be talking to that didn't go through a free group, so it's hopefully on your, your tracker, your business activity tracker, your vitals, you're talking to lots of people, you're having lots of conversations. So it's lots of people you could share this, this with. Expect no. Just be okay with knowing no is going to happen. It's not an insult to you. It's not a no to you. It's a no to, and it's a not right now. You will be floored at the people that you thought were never going to do this because they told you no. You'll be floored in a few months. Like it's one of my favorite things to have coaches come back in a few months. Like, oh my gosh. So just continue to ask and say, hey, no worries. Maybe another time, whatever, but you stay engaged with them because now they're like watching you. That is because that's what it really is. That invitation at its worst is an invitation to now watch me go. Now they know you're doing this thing. And now they're like, when Helen crosses their feed, oh, there she is again.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is getting fitter. Dang her. Oh, there she's being all like inspirational. She's so annoying. Oh, there she is being funny. And there she is one day and I'm desperate and I've tried things and I'm not getting anywhere and I'm, gain more weight. And I'm like, Helen, will you help me?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. But only because you asked her. Those people get so caught up in hearing no. But I'm like, if you're not hearing no a lot, you are not helping people. You're only helping yourself save face. From what? That's what it comes down to. Is we're trying to like not feel like we're selling, and it's our own insecurity that I'm not saying I've conquered it. Like I still feel it. It's not easy. I don't love to like go ask a whole bunch of people and hear no all the time. I just happen to know. I happen to have perspective of like what that invitation did. It opened up a door. It opened up. It planted a seed. Now that's another person who is engaged and connected with me, who knows that I'm the girl to go to when they are ready. And now that's another eyeball that has an awareness of what I'm doing. And now they're gonna slow the feed down when they see me. You know what I mean? And that is a relationship that I'm continuing to nurture because I had the nerve to invite them to something that could possibly change their lives. Wow, like how awful. I've shared with you like health and fitness. I mean, think of the many awful things you could sell. I feel like that's how we need to look at our invitations, and that's how we need to look at those no's. Like there's actually trainings called the 100 No's Challenge. Like that's what we'll do. We'll do a 100 No's Challenge. Like I'm going to go get 100 no's. And it's like turning on this idea of no is bad. No, if I'm getting 100 no's, that means I am helping a lot of people. Because that's the reality. Is I'm helping a lot of people if I've gotten 100 no's. Because a lot of people are going to say yes. If I'm asking enough people to get 100 no's, there's a good, solid 10 are saying yes. But we just don't ask enough people. Because we keep hearing no and we think that it's like a rejection. But we can't expect everybody to be ready. We can't expect it to be the right time for everybody. But we can't expect to like put ourselves out there to let them know that like, hey, no worries. I'm here for you. You'll continue to be there and can engage social media, whatever, build relationships and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just talking to lots of people.
Yeah. Real. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good questions. Thank you so much for asking these questions. These are really good. Any other questions before I close it down?
No.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to put this on Wednesday of next week. I'll keep you guys posted. And it might change. I would like to maybe try different times to get others on live if this time doesn't, so that maybe earlier in the day. But I think I did promise Wednesday of next week. So, okay, guys. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for asking questions. They really are helpful. I think these questions help others for sure. So definitely when you come live, you know, bring them. Like, I want to do this. I love the live interaction. I think it makes such a difference. So, all right, guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.